Good morning, class 9, and welcome to the 8th session of e-learning classes. And in this session, we are going to learn about the Himalayan river system as we have said earlier. Okay, so let us understand the Himalayan river system. The Himalayan river system are the major rivers which includes river Indus, river Brahmaputra, and river Ganga. Okay, these are the very big river system. Okay, and they are very long. These rivers along with the tributaries are called the river system. Okay. Now these rivers, as I said, is joined by the other tributaries which are very large. Okay. And all these tributaries which are joining the main river, that is river Indus, river Brahmaputra and river Ganga, forms a river system. Okay. Now let us understand one by one. The first one is the Indus river system. The river Indus rises in Tibet near Lake Mansarovar. Okay. Now here is Tibet. Okay, and you know that in the north we have got another country that is China. On the east there is Pakistan. Okay, so it originates here in Tibet near Mansarovar Lake and it starts its journey. Okay. Now let us understand the journey. It flows west and enters India in Ladakh. Okay. That means from here it starts its journey and flowing west. When it flows west, that time it enters in India. Okay, and the place where it enters India is the Ladakh. Okay, it forms a picturesque gorge in this part. Now, which part we are talking about is Ladakh. Okay, here it forms a picturesque gorge. Now, picturesque means very beautiful gorge. Okay, and then it moves on forward. Okay, several tributaries, the Jaskar, the Nubra, the Suyuk and Hunya joins it in the Kashmir region. All these tributaries, they join in the Kashmir region. Okay. The Indus flow through Baltistan and Gilgit and emerge from the mountains at Otto. Okay. Now let us understand this. The Indus flows through Baltistan and Gilgit. Okay, and this place is located here. The Baltistan and Gilgit is located here in India. Okay, and when this river and river Indus, when it flows toward the west, it passes through this place and flows downward. While flowing downward, it emerges at a mountain. Okay, from the mountain. Okay, at a place called Otto. Okay, so here lies the place called Otto. Now let us understand another point. The Satluj, the Bias, and the Ravi, and the Chenab, and the Jhelum joined together to enter the Indus near Midnapur in Pakistan. Beyond this, the Indus flows southward, eventually reaching the Arabian Sea east of Karachi. Now you can see here. Okay, these are the tributaries of river Indus. There are 5 tributaries, that is Satluj, Bias, river Chenab and Jhelum. Okay, they all join together first to join the main river. That means they are joining together before entering the main river, that is river Indus. Okay, they join together first and then they enter the main river and then they flow southward. Okay, they join at a place and that place is near Mithankot, that is in Pakistan. Okay, and then after that they flows downward. Beyond that place, okay, the river flows southward and then it finally reaches the Arabian Sea, which is here. Okay, and the place that is called Karachi. Before entering the Arabian Sea, they passes nearby Karachi, that is east of Karachi. Karachi lies this side, and from the eastward it enters into the Arabian Sea. Okay. Okay, students. Now let us understand about the Indus plain. Okay, the plain formed by the Indus river. The Indus plain has a very gentle slope. Now, as you can see, it is passing through this place. Okay, now you can imagine that it has got a very gentle slope. Okay, with a total length of 2,900 kilometers, the river Indus is one of the longest river of the world. Now, the length is about 2,900. It's a very long river. Okay, and that is why it is one of the longest rivers of the world. A little over a third of the Indus basin is located in India. There are various places where the Indus plains are located. Now let us understand where are those. Those are in Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, and the rest is in Pakistan. Only few, that is over a third of Indus, means over one third of Indus is located in the India, okay, and that is in Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, and the remaining rest of the Indus plains are located in the Pakistan. Okay, so you can understand from here with the map also that this is the place from where the Indus River is passing through, and the rest whole region is covered under Pakistan. Okay, then this whole areas comes under Pakistan and the river flows through Pakistan. Okay, so only this part is covered by Indus River in India, and that is why it has formed Indus plain, and that is about only one third of it. Okay, so I hope you understood this. Now let us understand another one, that is the Ganga river system. Okay, now I would like to tell you one more thing about it. Okay, that is according to the regulations of the Indus Water Treaty, that is in 1960. Okay, India can use only 20% of the total water carried by the Indus river system, and this water is used for irrigation in Punjab, Haryana, and the southern and western part of Rajasthan. Okay, now we can use only 20% of the water which flows through the Indus river, and this treaty was signed in 1960, and the treaty was called the Indus Water Treaty. Okay, so remember this. Now let us understand the Ganga river system. The river Ganga is regarded as the holiest river of India, okay, and it has got a special status in our country from since time of memorial. Okay, that means from the very old time, okay, Ganga is regarded as the holiest river in the country and has got a different status. Okay, now let us understand about the river. The headwaters of Ganga, called the Bhagirathi, is fed by Gangotri Glacier and joined by Alaknanda at Devaprayag in Uttarakhand. Okay, now in Uttarakhand, that is located here. Okay, it is joined by Alaknanda, okay, at Devaprayag. It is a place called Devaprayag here, okay, in Uttarakhand. At that place, Alaknanda joins the river called Bhagirathi. Okay, now Bhagirathi is a river which is getting water from the Gangotri Glacier, and this is the origin of river Ganga. Okay, now the headwater means the first place from where the river originates, that is the source of a river. The Bhagirathi gets the water from Gangotri Glacier, and when it flows down as it streams, and slowly it grows, it becomes larger and larger, and it takes the shape of a huge river, and that is the river Ganga. Okay, now when the river flows down from the mountain, it enters the plain. Now let us see the place where it enters the plain. At Haridwar is a place, okay, where Ganga emerges from the mountain onto the plains. That means this is the place where it finally enters the plain region. Okay, the Ganga is joined by many tributaries from the Himalayas. Okay, the few major tributaries of Ganga are Yamuna, Gagra, Gandak, and Koshi. These are the major rivers. Okay, besides these major tributaries, there are other tributaries also, but we are not counting all of the tributaries. We are talking about only the major tributaries, and these tributaries join the river Ganga. As you can see here, these are the major tributaries. Okay, this is Yamuna, okay, Gagra, Gandak, Koshi. Okay, these are the tributaries of river Ganga, and this is the main big one. You can see here, this is the big river. This is your river Ganga. Okay, and the small river which are joining, these are the major tributaries of river Ganga. Okay, besides this, there are other also. You can see in the physical map of India. Okay, now let us understand the further points. Now let us talk about the major tributaries of river Ganga. Okay, in this point we are going to discuss about the major tributaries. Let us understand. The river Yamuna rises from the Yamunotri Glacier in the Himalayas. So here lies the river Yamuna, which is flowing parallel along the right hand side of the river Ganga. Okay, and you can see that it has originated from the Yamunotri Glacier, and it is flowing in the parallel way with the Ganga. It flows parallel to Ganga, as I said, and as a right bank tributary meets Ganga at Allahabad. Now, as you can see in the picture, okay, the river Yamuna is also flowing parallelly with the Ganga, okay, on the right hand side, and then it flows along the northern plains and meets Ganga at a place called Allahabad on the right bank side. So that is why this is the right bank tributary of river Ganga, and it meets river Ganga at a place called Allahabad, and then they flow. It flows in the river and finally goes into Bay of Bengal after joining many other tributaries. Okay. Now let us understand what are the other tributaries. Okay, major tributaries that flows along in this river. The Gagra, the Gandak, and the Kosi rises in Nepal Himalayas. They are the rivers which flood part of the northern plain every year, causing widespread damage to the life and property, whereas they enrich the soil for agricultural use. Okay, the river which is originated in the Nepal Himalayas. Okay, you can see this is, okay, I will mark on the board itself. This is a place called Nepal. Okay, so this is Nepal. In the Nepal Himalayas, from the Nepal Himalayas, the other tributaries they originate, like the river Gagra, Gandak, and Kosi. They originate in the Nepal Himalayas and they flow towards the India. They enter India and then they join the river Ganga. But in this process, while coming down and joining river Ganga, okay, they causes lots of flood in the northern plain, and they causes damage, okay, to the life and property of the people. But they also have got a positive side, that is they brings the fertile sediments. Okay, they bring the sediment which makes the soil fertile in this region, and that is very good for the agricultural use. Okay, there is a positive side as well as negative side of these rivers. So you can understand that the rivers which are coming from the Nepal Himalayas, they mostly cause the flood in the region which is closer to the northern plain related with Nepal. Okay, now you can see this place here. I can tell you that there is Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and West Bengal. Okay, these are the places which are closer to the Nepal, and they faces the problem of flood, okay, caused by the river in this region every year. Okay, now let us understand about the tributaries which comes from the peninsular upland and that joins the river Ganga. Okay, now let us understand about this. You can see on the board, these rivers are river Chambal, Betwa, and so these are the tributaries which comes. These are the main tributaries which comes from the upland of the peninsular. Okay, peninsular upland, and then it joins the main river, that is Ganga. Okay, the river rises from the semi-arid areas, have shorter course and do not carry much water in them. So you can understand that since it is coming from the peninsular uplands, okay, and the course between the joining Ganga and the origination place, that is the place from which it is originated, okay, the distance is very less, the course of the river is very less, so it carries very less water. Okay, and the courses are very shorter as well as it carries very less water in them. Okay, and let us understand from the picture how and from where it is joining. Now you can see here that this is river Chambal. Okay, it is joining river Yamuna, and again another one is river Betwa. It is also joining river Yamuna, and ultimately joining the main river, that is the river Ganga. Okay, and here is another, that is river Son. Okay, Son is the only tributary that joins the river Ganga directly, whereas Chambal and Betwa they join the river indirectly. Okay, so these are the main tributaries that is coming from the uplands of the peninsular India, that is from here, peninsular plateau from here. Okay, it is joining from the peninsular plateau towards the Ganga plain. Okay, peninsular upland and then the river Ganga. Okay, it is flowing from peninsular upland and joins the main river, that is river Ganga, and flows in the Bay of Bengal. From the upper side, if you can see here, okay, that is from the northern side. From the left hand side of river Ganga, you will see that Kosi joining and Gandak and Gagra joining the main river, that is river Ganga directly, and then it flows into the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so these are the tributaries of river Ganga. So I hope you have understood this. Now there is a question for you all. Okay, find out where and how they ultimately join the Ganga. Now here they means these three tributaries. Okay, the river Chambal, river Betwa, and Son. We are talking about these three tributaries. So you are supposed to find out where and how they ultimately join the Ganga. So this is the question for you which you are supposed to do. Okay. Now let us understand about the flow of river Ganga, okay, in the northern plain and finally entering into the Bay of Bengal. While flowing from here, it is joined by the tributaries from the left bank as well as from the right hand bank side of the river, okay, and then finally it flows in the Bay of Bengal. Before entering Bay of Bengal, it also forms a features. Let us understand about it, okay. Enlarged with water from its right and left bank tributaries, the Ganga flows eastward till Farakka in West Bengal. Now, enlarged with the right and left bank tributaries. Then, as you can see in the picture, when the tributaries from the left bank as well as from the right bank, when it joins the main river, the river becomes very large, okay, and then it flows eastward till Farakka in the West Bengal. That means till Farakka it flows, okay, and that is the place, that is the northernmost point of the Ganga Delta, okay. When it reaches the Farakka, okay, then that is, the Farakka is the place which is the northernmost point of the Ganga Delta. That means after that the river becomes very slow and then it branches again, okay. Now this is the northernmost point of Ganga Delta, as I said, which place? That is the Farakka, okay, where the river flows towards the east. The river bifurcates here. The Bhagirathi, Hooghly, these tributaries flow southward through the deltic plain to the Bay of Bengal. Now, with the help of picture, let us understand this, okay. Now, this is the Ganga river which is flowing towards the east along the northern plains, okay. While flowing here, when it reaches the place called Farakka, okay, till Farakka, the Ganga river flows smoothly and then slows down because there is a formation of delta. Delta is a place where there will be lots of deposition of sediments, okay. So the land will be a little bit higher and therefore the river starts branching out. So this is the place where it bifurcates. Bifurcate means there will be distributaries, okay. The river from the main stream, okay, the small river will branches out and flows, okay. So here when it bifurcates, it gives birth to two distributaries, that is Bhagirathi and Hooghly. These two rivers flows downward, that is southward, and enters the Bay of Bengal, okay. And the main stream will still continue with less water, okay, and then it enters the Bangladesh, where it joins the another river, that is the Brahmaputra, okay, where it joins the big river, that is the Brahmaputra river, and together they form a very large river, okay, the mighty river, and the name of this river is Meghna, okay, Meghna, Meghna, okay. The name of this river is Meghna, and finally it enters into the Bay of Bengal. It flows into the Bay of Bengal, okay, a sea in the eastern coast of India, towards the eastern coast of India, okay. Before flowing here, okay, you know that they have already formed a delta region. As I said before, the delta formed by river is known as Sundarban, okay. The delta which is formed by river Ganga and Brahmaputra, this whole region, okay, there is a huge delta region here, and this is called the Sundarban, and it is the world's largest and the fastest growing delta, okay. And it is also the home of Royal Bengal tiger. And the Sundarban is the home of Royal Bengal tiger, okay. The name, about this name, there is a special thing about this name, okay. Let us understand this also. The Sundarban delta is derived in its name from the Sundari tree, okay, which grows well in the mainland. That means the name Sundarban has come from the Sundari tree, a special kind of tree which grows here, that is the Sundari tree, and on this name only, that is the Sundari tree, from this name only the name Sundarban has been derived. Okay, so I hope you understood this. Now let us understand about the length of river Ganga and some stretches of the Ganga plain, okay. The length of the Ganga is over 2,580 kilometers, that is, it's a very long river, okay. And Ambala is located on the water divide between the Indus and the Ganga river system. Now water divide, we have already understood about water divide in the previous session, okay. So you can understand that water divide is a raised land structure, okay, which divides the two different river systems. So on this water divide, you'll find there is a place called Ambala. Okay, Ambala is located on the water divide between Indus and Ganga river system. That means here in this part. Okay, the plains from Ambala to the Sundarban stretches over nearly 1800 kilometers, but the fall in its slope is hardly 300 meter. Okay. In other words, there is a fall of just 1 meter for every 6 kilometers. Therefore, the river develops large meanders. Now, from here you can understand that the plains from Ambala to the Sundarban stretches over 1800 kilometers. That is from this place to Sundarban. Okay, and there is a distance of 1800 kilometers. So the plains formed by the Ganga river, okay, from Ambala to the Sundarban, you will find that the fertile land, okay, that is the plains formed by the Ganga river is about 1800 kilometers, okay, in length, the stretches, okay. And from here you also understand that there is a fall of its slope hardly 300 meters. That is, for every 6 kilometers there is a fall of 1 meter, which means that when the river flows, okay, when the river is flowing, then it gets meander. Okay, meander means like this. Now, when it falls, okay, the river meanders in this way. Okay, so in this way the river meanders. Wherever there is a fall of land, so the river gets meanders. Okay, so I hope you understood this. Therefore, the river develops a large meanders, as I said. When there is a fall of land, before it wasn't like this. Okay, it was like this. But when there is a fall of land, at that time the river got meandered. Okay, and it forms a large meander. Okay, in this way the river meanders. Okay, with this we have completed the Ganga river system, and in the next session will be understanding about the Brahmaputra river system. Okay, so with this I would like to end of the session here, and I want you all to revise at home, study well, prepare yourself for your exam. I am repeating this again and again so that you remember that you have to study and prepare yourself for the exam. Okay, so with this I would like to take a leave from the session. Study well, take care, thank you.